Good morning. Welcome to Thursday. I want to share about Septima this morning, called by some people the mother of the movement. She was born in 1898, and she qualified as a teacher, but remember which city, Charleston, South Carolina, wouldn't hire African American teachers. And so she moved to St. John's Island and taught there until 1919, and then returned to Charleston, where she taught at the Avery Institute. She then moved to Columbia, South Carolina, and got involved with the chapter of the NAACP and worked with the organization and Thurgood Marshall on a 1945 case that sought equal pay for black and white teachers. They won, and her salary increased threefold. She moved back to Charleston and took up teaching. However, in 1956, South Carolina made it illegal for public employees to belong to civil rights groups. Got that? 1956. South Carolina said it's illegal for a public employee to belong to a civil rights group. And so she refused to quit, and she lost her job. But then she moved to Tennessee and became a teacher with the Highlander Folk. Is that what it's called? Yes, the Highlander Folk School, which, if you're familiar with the civil rights movement, you might have heard of it. It's where many, if not the majority, of civil rights leaders went to train and to study. And she was a teacher there, and she led participants to participate. And it was only 3 months after attending one of her workshops that Rosa Parks wouldn't get up from her seat on the bus, thanks to her training from Highlander. There's so much more about her. There's a book about her called Freedom's Teacher, but I want to share a couple of quotes. One is odd, but powerful, and then maybe its power is in its oddity. I have a great belief that the fact that whenever there is chaos, it creates wonderful thinking. I consider chaos a gift. And if you sit with that for a little while, you go, I can work my way there. It isn't fun in the middle of it, but yeah, the chaos, like the pandemic, really drew out more creative thinking in me than perhaps any other time in my ministry. So always looking for the gift. What's the gift you can find from something I just said to somebody? And another quote, which I really like. She's a Christian, and she said, "We need to be taught to study rather than to believe, and to inquire rather than to affirm." Now, she may have meant that about teaching in schools, but I totally believe this about Christianity, that we need to be taught to study rather than to believe, and to inquire rather than to affirm. Wouldn't you agree with me on that? If you do, have a grateful day. If you don't, have a grateful day. Bye.